Welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. We are live outside at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort. And we have in studio with us this morning Miss Natasha II, who is the chairman of the Tobago People's Party. And we're here to talk a little bit about politics. We're here to talk about TPP screening for the upcoming THA elections. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Tobago, to Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I want to start off with one question before we get into the screening. Do you have the election date in your back pocket?
Even if I did, I would not be at liberty to share it. But we do know generally it will range between January and March of 2026.
Yes. So we're not looking at a December elections come 2025. Oh, you can't say.
All right. I like the poker faces, like you're not gonna get that out of me and not this morning. No.
Okay, so let's get into it. The TPP want to get into the screenings. When is it starting? How can persons put themselves up for service?
Right. So our nomination process began about a week or so ago, around October the 5th, and will conclude at 11:59 p.m. on the 17th, Friday the 17th. So that's this Friday. So we are very excited to have quite a keen interest in representation through the Tobago People's Party. And we want to encourage persons, whether you're at the action group level, whether you're a member of the party, you're a Tobagonian, you've looked on, you're excited about the Tobago People's Party's philosophies and or general movement, come. We want you to either nominate, propose someone, or get yourself ready to be proposed or nominated. And after that, we will announce all of the nominees vying for the position, and we will begin our screening process.
And when you're screening, what exactly are you looking for in a candidate?
Right, so we won't go into the exact information concerning screening, but I will tell you at the proposal level, which is what is happening now, because it's a very, very critical and important process. It's a way for all of Tobago to participate as though they're consulting and they're demonstrating what kind of personality they would like to see become an assemblyman, become a potential secretary, become an assistant secretary. You're looking for somebody who cares about people, who cares about policy positions, who is disciplined, who is objective, doesn't take things too personally, who advances the cause of the Tobagonian vision, which is at this time to be the greatest little island on the planet. That is the kind of personality you're looking to nominate, somebody who has demonstrated leadership, demonstrated the capacity to organize persons, is a team player, works along hand in hand with everyone, whether they are at the grassroots level, academia, business class, etc. Somebody who has the ability to interact with everyone on an equal footing and who wants to advance the vision of Tobago.
Ms. Second, you know, in terms of you said the nominations opened last week and it runs until this Friday. In terms of responses, what has the response been like? Have you seen new faces? What is the mix and the makeup of the persons who are either putting themselves up for nomination or being nominated and accepting this process right now? What is it? What are we looking like?
It's beautiful right now. It's very encouraging because we have a lovely mix. We have young people, we have academics, we have persons from the grassroots, we have persons who have been entrenched in the politics for some time. We have brand new faces. It is very exciting. It also suggests that a lot of thought is going through people's minds, the proposers, whether they are from the action group level, like I said, or as individuals. They're thinking it through. They're thinking who we want to represent our district, who we want to represent our island, if we have to do international discussions, regional discussions, who we would like to carry our vision forward. So a lot of thought is going into it. We are very pleased that it's very collegial, a lot of debate, a lot of banter. The caliber of persons that we have so far is just wonderful. And we do know that there are always people who hold their hand back a little bit, you know, wait it out a little, and we expect a flood of persons in the last few days.
And how soon after the nomination closes are you going to start the screening process rather, so that you can determine, who the successful candidates, potential candidates would be?
Well, the party executive is going to meet because we want to support the political leader in creating that screening committee, which will participate in the interview process. But before that, we're going to ask our action groups or various party groups to sort of assess the personalities who have been brought before them. So to give us a first grading, not just the action groups, but members of the committee, the community and other committees. We want to ensure that we have the best possible representatives going forward to fight the upcoming elections. It's not going to be handed to us, so we have to have discipline and we have to be fully prepared. So I'd like to chat about how we are getting prepared.
And that was leading to my next question when you said we don't have it in our hand, in terms of your preparedness and in terms of where you are, in terms of your confidence coming into the period where we know the election will be called, as you mentioned, somewhere between January and March. How is the TPP positioned to approach the election, the upcoming election?
Well, I'm proud of the HR development in our party so far. We have some successes behind us, but there's a saying, we are as good as our last performance. So we want to better the performance that we have done so far. It is an expensive endeavor, elections, so we have been raising funds, and month of November, we're going to declare it as our blue month. We're going to, the island is going to see a large increase in the number of activities, bigger activities to raise larger amounts of money. But so far, we've done raffles, we've done breakfast sales, we've done lunch sales, etc. And so on. Apart from the fundraising, we've been doing a lot of training. We know that elections are won on election day, so the election day machinery preparation is critical to success. Today, I'll be meeting with all of the executive members of all of our action groups to do a final large meeting before we move on to the fine-tuning of our election day machinery. So we're looking very good at this point in time. I'm pleased with the progress and the improvements. I'm pleased with, we've rolled out our code of conduct. I'm pleased with that response among the people, because we want to have a position where everybody who comes to vie for a position within our party understands the importance of discipline and respect of our party executive, so that we don't have any runaway horses, any individual runaway horses. Everybody understands that we are an organized and well-structured movement.
You mentioned that you're conducting training as well. What are some of the areas you're providing training for your nominees and potential candidates?
Right. So even before that, those people who will support the nominees and potential candidates, even after victory at all districts, we have training in terms of fundraising and financial management, because you have to know how to manage your resources. We have asset management as well. We have leadership training. You have to know different styles of leadership and how to switch from one to the other. Conflict resolution and conflict management, team building exercises, knowing how to get past issues, because we are human beings and you may be offended. The election process is a very rigorous one. Sometimes people fall out and so on, entire communities fall out. So you have to be able to bounce back quickly and get back on an even keel, so that you don't victimize people, you don't punish people and so on, with the power that you inherit. We've trained people in terms of collective responsibility, knowing that you have to look beyond. We are very clannish people in Tobago. So you have to look beyond your immediate family to fill positions and to do things like that. You have to look at persons who have done the work. You have to be able to keep records well. We look at recruitment, the importance of marketing our party, our party's position, and Tobago, what is in best interest of Tobago, and working together with dignitaries from other cultures, being culturally competent and culturally responsive. So understanding about other people, so that we won't shame people when we go abroad to participate in activities.
You seem to have a very comprehensive, holistic training regimen going on.
Yes.
But I want to just talk back a little bit to the nominations, and in terms of the interest of those who are currently incumbents in vying for positions again? You see that a high level of interest in those incumbents returning for another term in service?
Well, they've all the seats would have been vacant, right? And everybody has put their hat back into the ring.
Okay.
And there are many competitors for all of those positions. So everybody has put their hat back in the ring, the incumbent, and there are many viable and lucrative and good and effective persons who will compete for every single seat.
So is it safe to say that you believe that you are quite confident in your approach and your preparedness for the upcoming THA election, which we do not have the date for officially yet?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. We know that the work is difficult. We are up to the task because we invested the time, the effort, and the resources to make sure that we do the right thing. We understand the bigger responsibility, which is caring for Tobago. We do have the blessing of having received 6.3% for the first time in our history as a Tobago House of Assembly, and so we have to be responsible. We have to have management as a key component of how we are going to deal with this new influx of resources, and we have to enter into the situation with a very disciplined kind of approach to it.
So I know that your political opponents, they did their screenings already. They may have their full slate already prepared. And earlier this year, we saw a bit of a delay in the TPP in announcing the candidates for the general elections. I don't know if Tobagonians want to be in that kind of suspense this time around. So can we expect to have a release of the slate of candidates maybe sometime in December, November?
Well,
what is it looking like?
That is going to be part of the strategic movement of the party. We don't just run out and just do what others are doing. We examine the landscape and we do a lot of research, a lot of polling and so on. So the decisions we take are based on research and evidence. So you will have the opportunity to know fairly early who will be running where, right? And you will see evidence that we are getting ready. You will see campaign offices opening soon. Again, I said we're going to be doing a lot of fundraising activities. So you're going to know very soon.
You mentioned that the party does a bit of polling. In those polls, what is the position like in the communities with the party? Is the party in a strong position across the island? You have a bit of work to do in catching up, probably closing the gap or opening the gap somewhere. What does it look like right now?
It looks very encouraging, but our aim is always A++. So we want everybody to appreciate the value of the philosophy behind the Tobago People's Party. We want everybody to the pathways that we want to carve to help us to achieve the status of being the greatest little island on the planet. So we want more. We want more from Charlottesville all the way down to Crown Point. We want persons, I'm sure that persons are reflecting now upon the choices that were made on the other side, like the Red Party, and they're probably thinking that this is a good home for them to come now. So they can come.
You know, you mentioned A++ and that you want every single person to have an appreciation for the work that you are doing. But that is going to be a never-ending job because it's not possible, I don't think, to have every single person on board. So how committed and determined is the TPP to ensure that they continue working assiduously to ensure that they can impact, influence, convince persons that you are the best party and you are the best option and that you are providing the level of service that will impact the lives of Tobagonians in a positive way? Because let's be real, there are people who will not agree with, people who will not buy into, and people who will have grievances. How are you going to shift their mindset? How are you going to convince them that perhaps I should give them a chance?
Well, visioning is an eternal quest. You continue to try to pursue a vision. The first thing we have to do is be realistic and listen. We are very open to hearing Responses, you would see our members from day one have been on Facebook, all different forms of social media. They say when they're happy, they say when they're unhappy, and so on. So we're very democratic, and we do have a good process for you to communicate. We want that to permeate from all of the divisions, the village councils, the churches, the NGOs. We want, especially now that we have this large amount of money coming towards us, we want everybody's voice to be heard. You will go with the consensus, you will go with the larger direction once everybody agrees. But at the end of the day, the structure of our THA allows an executive council with only 9 persons. Those 9 persons have to come from a rigorously organized system where we have everybody's voice is valuable. And that is what we're investing in. So even if, remember, we are a democracy, so you can vote accordingly. Yes. But like I said, the vision is to attract more and more and to increase the population of persons who understand and agree with our direction.
All right. Well, you know, we wish you the successes that you're hoping for as you prepare for the screening process. The nomination continues up until Friday midnight. So for those of you who are members of the TPP and you are hoping to put yourself forward for service, now is the best time to ensure you get your name in there before they head to the screening process. You know, all the very best to you and your party as you continue to work towards your mandates.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Natasha II. She's the chairman of the Tobago People's Party, talking about nominations, screening, and preparations for the upcoming THA election. So look out for that date that will be revealed at some point. But in the meantime, they continue to prepare along with all the other parties on the island of Tobago who are preparing for the upcoming Tobago House of Assembly elections. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, which is Good Morning Tobago. And as we go, we invite you to stay with us. And as you stay, of course, we want you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.